heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say. I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. The Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! Here we go, 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks. Go Birds!
Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 302BIRDS. Philadelphia, listen up. The Rams are rolling in. They're all high and mighty after taking down those 14-3 Vikings. But let me tell you guys something. This ain't Minnesota. This ain't LA. This is the link that these guys are stepping into this week in January. So you guys, we're going to be bringing that fire this week because, look, last week's win was a win. It's a playoff win. We were excited. But at the end of the day, we could have done more. This team is capable of more, and we all know it. So gear the fuck up. Bring the noise. Bring the chaos. Let's turn it up. Welcome to another episode of 302BIRDS. Dalton here with KJ, Jack, Josh, and Ashley, ready to bring you guys some post-season coverage. Getting into our topics, we're going to do a little tailgate recap with some of our friends here from Canada, which should be an awesome segment. Excited to talk about that. We're also in that segment going to talk about what's on everybody's mind, the biggest thing that 10, 15 of you guys have texted me. I love it. Everybody's passionate about what happened with this guy and this Packers fan, this woman, this guy that called her the C word, extremely unacceptable. We're going to get right into that too. Go on about Jeff Hoffman being out for the Phillies, the Flyers and Sixers potentially getting a new stadium, the wild card win we'll talk about, Nakobe Dean being out. Some sacrifices were made when Nakobe Dean being out. Zach Bond now is going to take over signal calling on defense. We're going to talk about that, how confident we are there. The keys to success, Havens is going to be joining us for that. And last but not least, a divisional preview of the Rams. But enough of me yapping. I'm going to kick it to Jackson for his segment.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Anyway, don't worry about what I have to say. We have two fellas from Canada. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad, you guys. Go Birds.
We're all
Go
good.
Birds. Hanging in there. Hanging in there. How was this your first time at the link?
No, this was my third time actually. So first time would have been 2015 season opener against Dallas. We had 21 yards at halftime. I went with two Dallas fans that didn't wear anything. I'm sorry, that out of context. any gear anyways. They just wore, like college teams, whatnot. And then it ended up being a horrific game. DeMarco Murray had like a negative 19-yard, rush. So that was an unfortunate game to be in Philly for, my first ever time. Second time was a little bit more fortunate. Was the Monday Nighter, Week 7, 2017. And we all know what happened that year. Carson Wentz had a great game. There was like a 64-yard bomb to Mac Hollins. The dot in the end zone to Corey Clement. That was my graduation gift for university. But then from then on, I haven't been in Philly for 7 years. And Dalton and I decided, spur of the moment, once Green Bay was lining up to play Philly in the wild card, we were heading down and we were going to watch it.
Nice. And I'm guessing this is your buddy, Cancun Dalto.
That's me.
Right?
Yeah. That was my first time down in Philly. It was a great experience. Loved the link. Honestly, I can't wait to go back. It was just a hell of an experience, and the fans are wild, and I kind of like getting told to fuck off. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. We'll get into the tailgate recap, but 2 questions I have for you is, 1, how did you become an Eagles fan?
It was early on, 2001. I was more of a hockey fan, obviously in Canada. And all of a sudden, it just was like a spur of the moment that I chose the Eagles. My stepdad that came into my life at that point who met my mom was a big football guy. He had lived down in the States. Unfortunately, he's a Cowboys guy. And it was just a coincidence that I didn't know divisions. I didn't know colors. I actually didn't know what city the Eagles were from. And it's like the Eagles spoke to me at that point.
That's good to hear. And then Cancun Dalto, how did you become a Packers fan?
Man, when I grew up playing hockey, I was number 4. I think one day, I was just scrolling through the channels. There was this guy, Brett Favre. He's on TV. He's slinging it. I'm like, damn, that's my favorite number. And then ever since then, that was kind of it for me. I was locked in.
Awesome. Well, great to hear that. Glad you guys enjoyed yourself at the link. I guess we can do a tailgate recap. KJ, you were there. Dalton, you were there. I have no idea what happened. So talk about it.
You're muted, Mac. You and Jackson.
Oh, geez. Now I'm just like Jack being a dumbass. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was cool meeting up with Dalton and Jordan. It was really cool hearing their stories and their backgrounds about, how they became fans of each team. So it was really cool. And just to see Jordan get embraced by the other Philly fans was just really cool. And he fit right in with everybody else. So it was really cool to see that. And it was a cool experience. Shout out to 4th and John. They always bring it. And they treated, for the most part, I think they treated, Dalton can vouch for me a little bit. They treated him pretty good. So they didn't like mess with him too much. For the most part, though, they were pretty docile and they were pretty chill.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly banter, a couple of asshole chants, a couple guys coming up with a microphone, just me a bit.
Couple jerk off sharing the same name as you coming up with a microphone. I get it, man.
Yeah. Honestly, though, it was for the most part just friendly banter. It was great. Nothing hostile or fuck all. So
right.
And that's one thing that's actually a hot topic too. Obviously, everybody, we don't need to play the video. Everybody saw what happened in the 200s level with the real tough guy up there at like 60 years old that still is in nosebleed seats calling women the C word. Like, real big man. You're really representing our fan base well. I want to know, just like you said, all your interactions were great. And I just want to know how many Packers fans, because we also have another Packers fan. Shout out to my guy, Coach Khan, who I went to St. Joe's with. KJ knows him. He said he was at the game and he had great interactions too. So it just sucks because one interaction like this can just tarnish a whole fan base. And especially when Cowboys fans and Giants fans are looking for every claim to put you down and make your fans look worse, kind of sucks. But overall, I just wanted to bring these guys on to, number 1, show how the NFL fandom is expanding. But number 2, just show we had a great time just meeting these guys for the first time. We didn't know who they were into this. We just walked up. AJ, I'm pretty sure as we were walking by them, mentioned something about the Packers jacket to Dalt. And Dalt was just like, hey, let's fucking roll. He just gave it right back to KJ. And it's like,
well, I thought it was a nice jacket.
NFL
I thought it was a really nice jacket.
It's friendly banter. It's upbeat and just more of that. What were you saying, Mac?
I thought it was a cool jacket because I'm into retro jackets. And, I sell them on the side sometimes. So I thought it was pretty dope. And then also he had the NFL ski cap with all the teams on it. So I was like, hey, he's got the Eagles logo right there. He's representing us somehow. He's got a little love for us. So I took that logo and I ran with it. And I was like, oh, he still likes us just a bit. So but he had every other team too. So I mean, I guess he liked every other team as well. But it was a cool hat.
Yeah. One of my favorite interactions with Dalt was just embracing like the asshole chant. He's like, okay, raise it up. I can't hear you guys. Just loving it all. Awesome. So good on you, Dalt, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again.
We'll like see. was it a lot of fun too? Like it's almost like you're kind of like the center of attention there, right? Like it's like wearing a target on you. You got to have balls to do that, man. So first off, give you credit. Second off, was anybody like overly nice to you, like, or did anybody offer you a beer? Was there hospitality like from any Eagles fans, or was it just strictly ball busting? Like, hey man, we want to keep our distance from you, like.
No, I mean, honestly, it was good. I got offered a few beers, a couple of left-handed cigarettes. There was food and everything at the 4th and John. I mean, everything was good. I mean, it was full-on hospitality. Obviously, it came with some banter, but no, I mean, honestly, like you guys are gonna hate it too, but I'm a Braves fan too. So,
oh God, you're lucky our one buddy Ballpark's not here. He'd be like, get him out of here, kick him out.
Yeah, I'm like, now we want to go back. We want to go to a Phillies and Braves game, see how that goes. I mean, I'm looking forward to go back to the city of Philadelphia.
You guys got some people to tailgate with. I'm just saying. Let us know. Shoot us a DM. We'll be there.
Jordan Dalton, what part of Canada are you guys from?
From Northern Ontario.
Okay.
So I don't know, you know where Toronto is?
Yeah.
Okay, we're about 4 hours north of that.
So I'm surprised you're not a Blue Jays fan.
I mean, you got to cheer for the home team every once in a while, but I mean, they're not fucking winners. So
I'll much rather check the Philly score and who's in the lineup and who's in the rotation that game rather than the Blue Jays.
So Jordan, are you all for
I am
hockey?
Phillies and Eagles. And then, like, I support the 76ers because of the Philly tie. But, like, with the Raptors, I don't watch too much basketball, but just being a sports fan. And then I grew up being a Red Wings fan. So just now with the Broad Street Bullies as, like, a historic team and everything, I've always liked the Flyers. So the city of Philadelphia, I embrace all their sports. It's a sports town. So I go along with it.
Awesome.
Well, I want to thank both you guys for. Sorry, was Zep saying something? I couldn't hear. There's like an echo.
No, what time zone are you guys in?
Same time.
Same time zone. We're just straight up.
What the?
I don't know the landscape of Canada. I don't know how. I don't know how West Ontario is.
You guys are a lot farther east than us. So for us going down to the Buffalo border, it was, southeast. And then it was actually a farther drive from Buffalo to Philadelphia. So we went through upstate New York and then southeast. And you guys obviously, closer to the ocean. So it was a trek for us.
Did you guys try Wawa?
Trip though, Jordan, now that you've done it a couple of times, like you mentioned.
Pardon me, Dalt?
Yeah, all good. Are you used to the trip now that you've done it a couple of times, like you mentioned?
I've driven twice, it's a trek, but you're able to do it in a day. And, we were home by 9 o'clock Monday night, which is nice, get a good night's sleep, back to work the next day. But just in terms of like time and consumption of the city of Philadelphia, if you're able to fly down and just, spend as much quality time there as you can, that's what I can do, because driving there takes up a full day, really.
Yeah. Did you guys try Wawa by any chance?
We went past it. I went there before, but we had stopped at what was it? A Wegmans?
Wegmans, yes, sir.
Yeah, Wegmans, yeah.
New York, because by the time nightfall and everything happened Saturday night, we were like, we just want to get to the hotel in Philly and go from there.
Right.
What'd you guys get from Wegmans?
Beers.
There you go. Good choice. That's a good choice.
That was it.
I fucking love this Packers fan. He always had Dalton. You always have the best one-word answers. Like I remember I asked you, I said, "Who are the worst fans in the NFL?" And you just looked at me with the straightest face and you said, "You guys."
Yeah, if I could walk that back, I mean, I would. It was just in the heat of the moment.
No, it was a compliment. We like.
Yeah, No, I know that, but I mean, we all know that, like Cowboys fans, they're terrible. So it's same with like Chiefs and Bills fans, because where'd you guys even come from? I mean, you guys weren't around 5 years ago, so.
So that's an
there's
interesting.
so many
Wait, do you
worse
guys in
fans.
Canada dislike Bills fans? Because I feel like in Philly we respect them. If anything, is that like an urban legend? Those guys aren't as hard as they look.
Nah, I mean, we still like our Bills fans here, but it's like, well, you guys weren't Bills fans more than 5 years ago. I mean, you're all bandwagoners, and that's fine, but you're not real. So
for us growing up,
same thing with the Chiefs.
For us growing up as authentic fans with our teams, it was like always hearing the Patriots throughout their dynasties. And it's like you walk in, grocery store and someone has their gear on. They probably don't know 3 players on the team, but Tom Brady won a couple of Super Bowls. But now more so, we have like a community of like, there's like 20 of us friends that all have our different color of teams. A Colts fan, we have a Bengals fan, we have a Seahawks fan, a Raiders fan, and everyone's pretty much religious to their colors. And it's just, once football season comes around, it's do or die.
And just as I was telling you guys before, the other Canadians we met a couple of years ago, they said the one thing they told us, I was like asking them about Canadian football, and they're like, "Oh, that's Pee-wee football there, eh? That's Pee-wee." He's like, "The NFL's the real deal there, eh?" That's what he was saying. He's saying that was the main thing he was saying. But I guess up there, though, I mean, it's mostly like, I guess you guys most of the time are more to the NFL, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. There is fan bases. Sorry, Dalt. Like Saskatchewan and more out west are like very faithful to their teams, where they'll put watermelons on their head.
Sounds like crazy. The dog doesn't like them. So hey, I'm down for it. Don't worry, we got plenty of dogs here. Well, so wait, fellas, is there like certain fan bases in certain areas though in Canada, Dalton?
Can you say that again, Dalton?
Yeah, do you guys have like certain fan bases in certain areas? Like, okay, this section of Canada is like mostly Pats fan. This section is like rotten fucking Chiefs fan. Down here in the Swan are Eagles fans.
Honestly, not really. It's kind of just spread out. I mean, because we don't have anyone to support up here. I mean, maybe the people out in Vancouver might support, like Seattle, whatever's closest to you. I mean, there is predominantly a lot more Bills fans up here than anything else. But I think the game of football has grown a lot over the last 5-10 years, and then people are more. They'll probably want to pick a better team as opposed to some team that they actually like or whatever. But no, it's not. It's kind of just you pick your team when you're young and just roll with it. So
I looked at Jordan's Instagram and I got to give him credit. He's been a fan for a long time of the Eagles. You've been rocking with us for a while, bro.
I bleed green, man. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's an absolute diehard Eagles fan. He's got the sign in the backyard. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. He's got like the mini link in the back. I saw that with the mini link, right?
When the year we had won the Super Bowl against the Pats, we're at our local watering hole here, the doghouse, where we have our Super Bowl parties where everyone's in their jerseys. And after the Hail Mary's thrown, and I have my face painted, and I'm like this like wicked witch, like we're gonna stop this dynasty from happening with the pictures. And everyone raises me as that ball hits the ground, and I'm bawling my eyes out, as I'm sure you guys were at that moment.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was electric, and hey, hopefully
it was the best moment of our lives, I believe, for a lot of people.
Jordan, we'll get that for another Super Bowl for you this year, so that's for sure.
So we were discussing this at the tailgate, and the good omen is 7 years ago was the last time I went to Philadelphia, Week 7, 2017, and what happened?
Oh my God!
February. So,
oh my God!
For the moment, we came down in January. See if we got 3 more. Let's do it. Go Birds!
All right, I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. If we do go to the Super Bowl and we win it, I'm literally going to be on Broad Street and I'm going to have a sign and say, "You guys can all thank Jordan from Canada. You can all thank Jordan. It's all because of him. He was down here." I will do that.
At this point, it's like I'm going to have to meet you guys down there if that happens. So
Hey, you guys always got a
Calm
place
down.
to come for any baseball game, any NFL game. You guys got friends in Philly for life. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys represent what the NFL fan base should be. And like Dalton said, I mean, it was all in good fun. You guys are freaking awesome.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, boys.
guys.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You guys
Have
be
a good
Hey,
one.
good.
Go Birds.
thank you so much.
back.
Much appreciated
Jordan.
for everything. Go Birds.
Of course.
Go Birds. Guys, please be sure to check them out on Instagram. I know we tag them in the reels that we're posting. So we have a reel coming out with Jordan soon here. We just posted a reel with Dalton, our favorite Packers fan, the other day. Well,
That's
yeah,
my
I guess
favorite
he would be our favorite now. Sorry, Coach, if you're listening to this, but this guy was pretty fucking cool. So I'm gonna have to go out on a leg and say, I mean, we share the same name, Coach. So you really can't be mad at me.
He's my new favorite Dalton.
Wow, I will go fuck myself then, Josh.
That was awesome.
Oh, shit, that was good. But just like me out of this podcast, apparently, Jeff Hoffman is going to be out for the Phillies. And I know that a lot of people are excited about that. Probably just like a lot of people would be excited if I left this podcast. Oh, no, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, Phillies not really making moves, not really making any changes. I know a lot of Phillies fans are upset. They're staying stagnant. Jack, Mac, Ash, how you guys feeling about it?
I mean, Hoffman was a great pitcher for us. And I feel like I keep on hearing from a lot of people it was a big loss. I mean, they could have honestly signed him back. I mean, I kind of felt like he was a confident pitcher for us. I mean, when we needed him, I mean, he came in the clutch for the most of the time. But it seems like, I mean, I think he was supposed to either go to the Orioles or go to the Blue Jays. And he went to the Blue Jays, and he's pretty much happy apparently because he says it was like his dream come true. I think he grew up in like I guess like northern New York. So I guess he was a Blue Jays fan up there because he was saying like, oh, this is my dream come true. I get to go back home and everything like that. So I guess I'm happy for him for that kind of part, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. He failed multiple physicals. This is what we're learning. I was really upset when this news first broke until I realized that both the Orioles and the Braves were ready to sign him, but he failed the physical. So at that point, I was like, okay, if he's not going to be able to pitch for us in the capacity that we need him, he would just be taking up capital that we could be using in other ways. So I'm not overly upset about this. I know that the Blue Jays are one of the places that he wanted to be. So hopefully that's the best fit for him. But I'll be curious to see moving forward how his pitching is, and if whatever this injury or condition that they came up in multiple physicals, if it actually impacts him in the day-to-day pitching.
Yeah, I just remember him being a loser, I think. Didn't he lose something big in the playoffs, Mac?
I could be wrong. I don't think he did. I don't think so. I think for the most part, he was pretty decent with us. But I don't know. You might be thinking of Craig Kimbrell. Muted.
I know Kimbrell. I'll never forget that. I was going to say, Jesus Christ, we need to just eliminate the mute button on tonight's podcast.
Seriously.
I keep not seeing it because our lower third right here blocks it, but it is what it is. Point being about Hoffman. Hoffman was a good guy. He had good attitude, but it felt like to me like he was a good regular season guy. As a Phillies fan, I'm tired of seeing regular season guys. I want to see a guy that just wows me in the postseason, right? I want to see a guy that doesn't wow me in May. I want to see a guy that wows me in September, October, when these games matter. I'm so tired of being a mediocre baseball team and a mediocre baseball fan. I want to see my team not get knocked out first, second round. Like the minimum this year for the Phillies standard, or everyone should be getting 5. I would have thought that it would have been this year, but apparently not. Should have been the NLCS. Getting eliminated by the Mets first round, who fucknuts coming on the show later, so I'm sure he'll remind us, was disheartening. It was one of the worst things as a Phillies fan that we could have experienced. So it's frustrating, it's upsetting, and the Phillies need to be better than that. Another Philly franchise who is looking to be better. Well, guess where we're going, guys?
You are now listening to KJ Sports Sixers Talk presented by the Sleeper app.
Well, so the Sixers actually, from what I saw, they actually had a great comeback, a crazy comeback. They were down by apparently 31 points, and they came back. Apparently, I could be wrong with that number. They ultimately did not win the game. I believe they did not. Oh no, actually no, they are tied right now at 109. Oh my gosh, what a game! Holy crap! And they didn't even have Embiid in this game either. So that's pretty crazy. But we'll get into it though. The big news with the Sixers: no more Chinatown, no more Center City. They are staying put in South Philly, and they are sharing the arena with the Flyers. So for a lot of people, they're pretty happy, especially Chinatown. I mean, I know they are just ecstatic right now, as they should be. I mean, they don't have to worry about, a stadium getting in the way of their businesses and houses and everything like that, or messing things up for people around there. So that's a good thing. But out of nowhere, a crazy scenario. The Sixers somehow just get a stadium to work. They get a deal to work out with the Flyers, and they came to a conclusion that they want to share an arena, and they're going to build a new one in 2031. Now, I don't know why they keep on doing these add-ons and additions and new upgrades to the stadium of Wells Fargo Center, because you're going to tear it down. So I don't know why they keep on doing these upgrades. It makes no sense. But, yeah, it was surprising. I mean, me and Dalt were at the tailgate, and we heard the news. We were shocked. We were actually behind Wells Fargo Center when we heard the news, which was pretty crazy and ironic. So, I mean, to think that we heard the news about that and we were right there tailgating. So that was really cool. But, yeah, no 76th place. It's going to stay in the same place, Wells Fargo Center, or whatever it's going to be called in the next year or two. But pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best bet because, we have a great sports complex that most teams don't, most cities don't. And the plans they kind of wrote up for, that rendered to see what it would look like, it wouldn't make sense. And you wouldn't have enough fan base to go to those games. And you would just waste $3.5 billion, whatever it was, on a stadium that's just going to sit there. It may get full, but the nice thing about where the stadiums are now is, we can all go to one place. It's not in the city, and we don't have to really worry about the minutia and bullshit of, traffic or taking a subway to the stadium. So I like the fact that we are not going through with the plans.
Yeah, I grew up going to Flyers games, and I kind of always took it for granted. But last year I went to a Ravens preseason game, and we had the park 5 miles away. And I just kept thinking yo, I'm gonna get robbed by a homeless person. I love that in Philly. You only have to be worried about getting robbed by somebody who's in the Philly sports complex already, another Philly fan, which makes it all the better. So, and there's nothing going through those gates, paying however much, $40, whatever. Just being able to throw 2 to 18 beers back and just go to the stadium.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a great thing for them to finally come to a conclusion, and they realize that the bad decision of moving it to Center City was just, it wasn't the right decision. So pretty crazy. Because out of nowhere, we thought for sure it was going to happen. We thought for sure. The mayor even said, she's like, "Oh, I'm all for it, and this is probably going to happen. It's 90% sure it's going to happen." And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, "Nope, it's staying put."
I don't think she knew, is what I think the truth is. There were a lot of articles where even in the moment on camera, when it got announced, you could see the look on her face. Some people said she almost looked blindsided, right? So in my opinion, I think that this is better than what they were originally planning with the whole Chinatown thing. Keep it on the same plot of land, tear it down. That's a better thing. I'm happy with that. As far as sharing a stadium goes, I kind of feel bad for the Sixers. It feels like they just are dragged down by their stepchild, their stepbrother, their stepsister, their redheaded, whatever you want to call it.
They deserve it.
But they are literally a redheaded team. But it just feels like the Flyers, in a way, bring down the Sixers with them, even though the Flyers are the better franchise right now. But I just feel like the Flyers are always going to be kind of puppeteering or leading the way for what the Sixers do as far as business goes. And that's not a good thing. The Sixers should be able to think for themselves. And I think starting to get your own stadium is a step in the right direction for the Sixers to kind of start to be their own franchise. They're kind of just a extension of the Flyers now, except as a basketball team. That's how I feel, at least.
What? No hockey team has their own like hockey rink. Like what?
I think the Red Wings do.
Oh,
I'm sure. Oh, the Red Wings?
Some of them do. But like for the most part, I think it's
Big
always
market teams do. It's not, look, I don't want the Flyers. Look, let me be clear about this. I don't want the Flyers to have their own stadium. I want the Sixers to have their own stadium, which means that the Flyers get their own stadium as a result of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I think that's going to be the only way the Sixers get their shit together, in my opinion.
I get that. I understand that. The whole identity thing as well. Like
they have no identity. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
I get that. And also the Flyers fans and Sixers fans are kind of different in ways. I kind of feel like it really depends. But yeah, I think it makes sense now that I look at it for them to share a stadium, because even like you can see even like some historic franchises like the Bruins, they share an arena with another historic franchise in the Celtics. I mean, they share TD Garden. So I think it makes sense. I mean, we heard a lot of rumors of, I mean, this is the second time we've seen a potential Chinatown plan just not even happen. I don't know if you guys remember this. This was apparently early before Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies were supposed to apparently be in Chinatown. Apparently there were rumors. There was a lot of drawings of it. There was a lot of mock-ups and everything like that. But this is the second time that a Chinatown Center City arena plan has just been like not a thing, and it's just been canceled. So it's pretty crazy to see both times it just fall through.
Do you think that arena would have been bad for the city? Like me, like I feel like it's better that they're just staying put. I don't necessarily agree with the
I think it would have been bad.
Put additions on it to tear it down.
I think it would have been bad. I think the problem would have been like there's people that I know that work on Broad Street, people that work near there, and they said that for even them, that would just be a pain for them getting back home, because you would have the people coming inside to the city, coming in to watch a Sixers game, and you're going to be getting out of there. And people said this too. Hey, you might be watching this game, but like in the third quarter, you might be leaving early your home back in Delco or wherever you're coming from. And you might only get there until the third quarter, because God knows how bad the traffic's going to be, because you're just a straight shot or whatever. And it's just going to be packed, especially if the team's good. I mean, you're going to have a lot of traffic if not, but then also they would need to make like a train station, everything like that. And that's maybe one of the reasons why they didn't do it, because they were like, oh, we might have to make a new station or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. So I guess there was a lot of moving pieces where they were just like, you know what, this is not going to work out. Like, this is just not going to be a good thing. Let's come together with the Flyers. And they came to an agreement, and I'm glad they did, because I think it would have been something that we would have regretted for sure. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, thank God it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I agree with the way you put it too. It would have been a regret. And why are they putting all these additions on it too? I thought that was a good point you brought up.
I don't know why. I was confused, because they've been doing that. They just redid the floors. They redid a lot of the, I guess you could say, the concessions. They've been redoing a lot of it, and they were saying that they made new stores and everything like that. So what are you going to do? Like 10 years? I mean, not even 10 years. It's going to be like 5 more years, I guess, or 6, because it's 2025 now. And they're saying 2031, they're going to have a new arena. So what? You just made all these new like stores and all these new concession stands and all these new entrances and everything like that, just to knock it down? Like, it's like a waste of money. I don't get that part. I don't understand that. So maybe they keep it up as like a place for maybe like concerts, but I mean, it's going to be cramped if they do that. That's going to be cramped. So we'll see what they do. I mean, we know that there's some plans for like Xfinity Live to get bigger and expand. So I think in like 2031, I think the South Philly sports complex is going to look very different than it does now. It's going to look very different.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change the scape of it. But having all the teams in that cluster, I think, is the biggest thing, at least in my opinion. But moving on now to our next segment, where Mac and I were on Sunday down in that South Philly complex. So wild card win, it was an atmosphere. It was a movie. It was cinema down at the link on Sunday from start to finish. I mean, like Jordan and Cancun, Dalt, love that nickname that Dalt gave to himself. Sorry, Dalt. But in all seriousness, the tailgate was just electric, and it got everybody, even the Packers fans, ready for that playoff atmosphere. First play of the game, hit stick fumble, probably wasn't a fumble looking back at the tape. I know, shout out to KJ's family. They said that too when we came over, that looking back at the tape, it might have been not been a fumble. Eagles might have gotten lucky there, but hey, that's sometimes how football goes. You get the better end of the stick. Who didn't get the better end of the stick was me on Sunday, because I got hat jacked. Dennis, thank you for coming in here and showing paying your respects to my hat. If any of you guys have met me before, and especially in the cold weather, you've probably met me in this beanie. I had a beanie for a good 3 years that was the infamous 302 beanie. And as KJ and I were riding public transportation, the SEPTA, I felt a tap on the back of my head. And then I heard, "Fuck the Eagles." And as the doors were closing, this dude runs out. At first, I was like, okay, like, whatever. You're a real tough guy. Then I realized, because I had all my skelly, my shiesty, whatever you want to call it, the thing that keeps you warm. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wait, where's my hat? This mother trucker stole my hat, guys, and he hat jacked me. So that hat had a lot of sentimental value. I want you to know that my grandmother blessed that hat before she died, man. So I hope you feel bad. No, she didn't bless it before she died. But if that makes you feel bad about it and you can't sleep at night, I hope. I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, to do that after an NFL game, man, come on. It's a funny story. It's something we laugh about. And the good news is we are going to be ordering new hats. So if any of you guys want to get your own hat, let me know. What's up, Zeppelin?
What did you do with Jack? Did you eat him?
Jack had, I don't know. Dalton, I'm sorry you lost your hat. From the bottom of my heart, I am.
Thank you. I appreciate you showing your respects.
This was during the game because you left early again.
No, this was we got held up at SEPTA. Tell him, Mac.
Okay, so let me explain this.
Did you leave the game early? Did you leave the game early?
Yes, we did leave the game early, but that was my decision. That was my decision.
I actually didn't say it for once. Thank you for backing me up, Mac. I appreciate it.
I will take it. So here's the thing. There were 6 minutes left in the game, and I said, you know what, though? We should book it, and we should go get the train, because the train wraps with SEPTA. It wraps the freak around the train station. Like, it's bad. It's like a freaking zoo. So one time, me and Constantine we had to get bikes, and we had to bike back to his place back in South Philly. So we had to rent bikes. But long story, well, actually, it's going to be a little bit of a long story. I'll try and make it shorter. But SEPTA, for some reason, they had a cart ready for people. And then they said, you know what? For all the early people, they're like, nope, we're not going to let you guys go on this cart. So then we're all confused. And we're like, what the heck? And then there was this other cart that was open. And they were like, you couldn't hear it because SEPTA, I don't know why they have not upgraded their freaking stereo systems or whatever, the freaking speakers. You couldn't hear crap. And it pissed me off. They didn't tell us that it was an express train, and we went on an express train, and it went to the stop right before our stop. Like, it went to stop right after it. And if that never happened, we went on this other train, and that little douchebag came out of nowhere and said, F the Eagles, and takes Dalt's hat and runs off with it. And there's a SEPTA worker right there. He didn't do shit. He was right there. So he's like, oh, I think someone stole your hat. Yes, then what are you going to do about it? You work for the company. What are you doing? You're standing there like a bum. It was infuriating for me because...
So the point of that story is we did leave the game early. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, if that's your takeaway, my takeaway is there's a crime that needs to be solved. So there's many different sides of the story here, Zach.
Anyway, no one cares about the hat. It sucks. It's gone. Let's talk about this game. It was
me and KJ are mourning you, dickheads. But anyway, go ahead, Jack.
Okay. Jack is right. We need to lock in. Jack is right. We need to lock in.
Yeah,
wild.
because you guys are just going off
Yeah.
tangents about bullshit about your hat.
Lay into him,
Anyway,
Jack. Tell him.
I'm actually shocked that Dolt got into this little carried away with the hat stuff.
Anyway,
Because I'm trying to
Yeah,
fucking
I mean-
sell a hat over here, god damn it, so we can
Shut
get an
up,
order of 6 and get my
please.
goddamn
Let's lock
hat.
in.
Yeah.
Let's lock. We'll lock in. We'll lock
Jesus
in.
Christ, dude. Anyway, it was a game that we should have won by a lot more. I mean, Saquon Barkley played well. It sucks that AJ Brown wasn't targeted as much as we needed him to get targeted. But I mean, we still won. We won by, 22 to won by 12. So
Right. If Saquon runs off that run though at the end, it's 29-12 or 29-10.
yeah.
It seems like a lot bigger margin of victory.
Ashley, what do you take on
We
this?
should have capitalized on all the stinking turnovers. This game we should have been locked this thing up by halftime, and we didn't. I'll be curious to see what we need to tighten up between now and then and what they actually do. I will say my dad has listened to the entirety of AJ Brown's book that he made famous on Sunday. Said it's a good book. So if you're looking for a good, whether it's just a random night read or an audio book, it's a good one. The stiff arm play by Dallas Goedert was fantastic. That was so fun to watch. Got my house. I will say, watching the game on TV, we did not have that turnover at the beginning of the game. I had 100% accepted that it was Packers ball. I said, hopefully that'll at least get some momentum that we, force the fumble to begin with. I don't think my house has ever been as loud as it was when none of us, we were only half paying attention when they said that the call stood as it was on the field. So we got lucky. But again, we have to be able to capitalize off of these stinking turnovers, man. Did we win the game? Yes. But we should have dominated instead of just kind of what to me felt like squeaking by. Especially when LA has so much to play for right now, which I feel like we just need to say, we are thinking of everybody that's impacted by the horrific fires out there. So, because they have so much to play for right now.
Of course.
We have to play for Dalton's hat.
Yeah, we do.
Gosh,
That's right.
somebody
We need to
fucking
put
gets
Dalton's
it.
hat.
And hey,
Good
Jack,
job.
I just wanted to say, my hat actually revived our Twitch account. If you notice, the hat actually got somebody talking on Twitch. I don't think we've ever blow the fucking dust off the Twitch account because that might be the first comment I've seen in there in ages. But
I'd pay $1,000 to never hear about this hat again.
well, hey, shit, let's get a hat order going then, guys. We can get both logos then, like we were talking about, Mac. But point being, this game was awesome. Like I alluded to earlier as well. That first hit stick play fumble touchdown was awesome. I felt like from the time that we were there, Saquon was kind of underutilized, or maybe it was just the Packers defense that was good. They're not a bad defense at all, but it felt like it should have been the Saquon Barkley show more, especially with what we saw week 1, how much he was utilized. So I think if the Eagles can start to figure out, okay, how do we utilize this guy that we're paying all these big bucks, all this money in the playoffs, and how do we really just give the ball to him and let him take over? Everybody's going to benefit off of it. Some people were upset about Jalen Hurts, his performance with the 2 touchdowns. Did he have 2 passing touchdowns, I believe?
Yes, he had one to Dotson and he had one to Goddard. I guess
so. For Jalen, I mean, that's not bad at all. But some people were upset about it, and I like that in a way because this is the playoffs. So if there's any time to give Jalen that extra chip on his shoulder in a positive way, it's right now. Give him a little bit of a push, and I think that you'll see a good thing from the whole entire squad.
I mean, the thing is, he didn't have any turnovers either. So
that was great too. Yeah, turnover-free game.
Yeah, no turnovers.
Yeah,
so
that's okay. That's great and all, but at the same time, he's holding on the ball way too damn long. And I mean, we could get something going more than just him rushing in the backfield and not throwing the ball or throwing the ball out. So, I mean, no turnovers is great for a quarterback, but at the same time, he has to get rid of that ball. If we go back to our second Super Bowl, we lost to the Chiefs. That motherfucker got rid of the ball immediately. When he saw a guy open, he threw it. Whereas now he kind of regressed to what he was doing before that Super Bowl run. And we got to get back to what what we're used to with that whole season against the Chiefs, because that
that was a whole different Jalen. I get it. He had a few turnovers, beginning of the season, so maybe he's gun shy. But at the same time, it's those held balls, those hold possessions can be costly in the long run. And I mean, we can talk about it too, really briefly. But like Jake Elliott, we got to make that field goal, because if our defense wasn't as locked down as they were this last week, that could be a different game. And that 12-point game could be a 13-point game, which is two touchdowns. And you gotta get back to the basics and do our game.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen decision did okay. I mean, he's able to check to that Goddard screen pass, great call. But he was out for a month. I mean, anybody who's out for a month, you're gonna be rusty. And I think anytime Jalen's like ever been down, and the next week he comes out and balls out. You saw that against the Steelers this year. I still think we're probably going to be run heavy this weekend just because of the weather, but I think that helps us. I think that weather game is definitely in favor of Philly because we can just kind of ground and pound, whereas a lot of the Rams' offense is that air attack. So I think Jalen will bounce back, but I still think we're going to run the ball because weather permitting, it looks like it's going to be snow and sleet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we haven't seen.
And Matt Stafford's played in a dome his entire career, so.
And it's kind of crazy too, Dolt. This would be actually the second time that Matthew Stafford will be playing a potential Snow Bowl game. Remember, he played with Detroit in that game, so I just thought of that he was actually with them.
Oh yeah, I guess in Philadelphia. That's actually a wild stat.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy to think that. I mean, he was here when LaShawn McCoy was
a decade ago.
Jumping through the snow and going for touchdowns, multiple touchdowns in that game. And Deshaun Jackson was shoveling the snow and everything. It was a good time. It was a fun time for Eagles fans. But, yeah, I mean, we saw the game. Me and Dalt were there. It was obviously, as we said before, I mean, you're going to have people who are saying, oh, well, Jalen looked rusty. Jalen looked this. We just needed the win. And if Jalen looked rusty, that's fine. He got the rust out. I think this weekend, it's going to be a real test. I mean, you get to play a team like the Rams who come off a great dominating win against the Vikings. I mean, they went out and their defensive line owned Sam Darnold. They made him look like the New York Jets Sam Darnold out there. So the good thing is we have a way better offensive line than the Vikings have. So I feel like our offensive line can contain that Rams defensive front that they have. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, Saquon Barkley had an insane game this season back in LA, and he went off. I think he had his career high in rushing. So that was great to see. Hopefully he can have a crazy game like LaShawn McCoy had back in 2013 or maybe 2013, 2015, around that time.
I think it was 2014, 2013. It was about a decade ago.
Yeah, so I've always thought, like, you know what? If we could see somebody go off in the snow again, I thought of it like, dude, I want to see Saquon go off in the snow. That would be just super cool. So I'm excited for this game coming up, and we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a big difference maker. Nakobe Dean being out. This is definitely detrimental to this defense because he has been playing great football this year. He has gotten our good graces because, we had him on the team for
This is
third season, and he's been injured the past 2 seasons. So him going out that was a great play he had with his knee. Definitely is going to be a big hole in the defense. I think Orion Burks can fit in well. I think, we'll see more so Jeremiah Trotter Jr. play. But that's what I got to say. It sucks.
Yeah, Burks can hit. I think you're going to see an issue in coverage.
Yeah.
That's what I say. But, I mean, next man up is what it is. As far as the 22 starter, you're only missing Dean and Brandon Graham. You can't ask for anything better in the divisional round of playoffs, in my opinion. So, yeah, it sucks. Everybody's dealing with injuries, but you're going to see coverage. All just got to step up.
And really quick, before we continue the conversation, I want to welcome to the stage a guest from Bird's Nest Media, guys. Give him a round of applause. Joe Donahue, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you guys for having me on today.
Hey, no worries. Thank you for coming on. Well, let's let our guest cut it up. I mean, how are you feeling about this whole injury report for the Eagles headed into the divisional round of the playoffs? Trip to the NFC Championship at stake. Are you worried, Joe?
Yeah, so the injury to Nakobe Dean really concerns me. One of the big things that I'm thinking about as I hear about Nakobe Dean, after we had our collapse at the end of last season, and Nick and Howie had to go before the media and give their end of the season press conference, one of the things that Howie made it a point to say was that he still believed in Nakobe Dean. And when I heard that comment, I was like, we've seen him now for a couple years, but he's been on the sideline most of the time. What is there to believe in? And now over the course of the season, we've seen quite evidently why Howie believes in Nakobe Dean, because he's been really, really impressive over this year. You could tell when Nakobe went down and when the offensive and when the defense was backed off, when the defense had to bring in some subs. So I am concerned. I have confidence that Vic Fangio, being as experienced of a defensive coordinator as he has been, I have confidence that he's going to figure out a way to overcome it. This Eagles team kind of has this sense of being the next person up. But yeah, in the playoffs, an injury like that can really hurt you. And that does have me concerned a little bit as we're moving into this game.
Yeah, I mean, every game matters more now than ever, especially, like I said, with a trip to the NFC Championship at stake. Nakobe's out, and that means next man up that Zach Bond is going to be calling the plays for the Eagles defense. Are you confident in Bond taking over the reins? How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, Bond really, really, really improved the linebacker position this year. And that goes into a lot of what the commentary was and what Zach had said regarding conversations about what position he was going to play in. And he was kind of surprised by being slotted into this linebacker position. But he has gone off this season. He really made a name for himself. I kind of wish that we had signed him to an extension before the Pro Bowl rosters were announced, because that bothered me a lot when those rosters came out and how he hadn't agreed to an extension yet, because now his price is going to go up. But that just shows you how valuable Zach Bond is, just having that presence in the backfield. That interception that he had last week, that was just a beautiful thing. And yes, it was an errant throw by Jordan Love, but it was a really good read by Zach to be in the right position to catch that ball. And there are plenty of players who are getting paid millions of dollars to make that catch. But the fact that I don't think we've had a player like that recently enough that would have been able to add the depth, that would have been able to add the experience, and would have been able to add the football prowess that he has there. So he absolutely earned the green dot. He absolutely earned the right to be the leader of that defense, getting those play calls directly from Vic Fangio. He absolutely earned that this upcoming game.
KJ, Jack, how are you guys feeling about Bond taking over?
Yeah, I think it's great leadership. He's got to show some great leadership for sure. I think he's kind of already shown it this year. Coming out of New Orleans in a situation where he was pretty much known as like a special teams player, and then coming here to Philly and kind of feeling like he's got this new position, he's got this new calling over here in Philly, and he's really comfortable. And it seems like he's comfortable with Vic Fangio at the realm and telling him what to do and everything like that. And he just feels like he's in the right place. He was saying that he wants to be back here. He wants to be an Eagle. And as Joe pretty much said too, now since he's a Pro Bowler, his price is going to go up, and that's unfortunate. But I think the Eagles will make it a priority to give him the money that he needs, the money that he wants. So I think it's going to be interesting when the offseason comes upon us and we have to sign some players. And I think Zach Bond should be a number like number one priority for sure. I think because he honestly is holding this defense a lot, and I think he's coming up in the clutch, as Joe said as well. That great interception he had, I mean, that helped out a lot, and just to disrupt the offense of the Packers was just great to see that. And yeah, I mean, he's going to need to step up for sure. I mean, losing a guy like Nakobe Dean who has stepped up. I mean, yeah, Joe mentioned it as well that Nakobe Dean was a guy that we thought last year, like, yeah, he's hyped up. He's injured a lot. Like, we haven't really seen, we don't know what Howie's really talking about, but he's actually stepped up this season. He's been delivering some great hits. I mean, he's been everywhere as well. And Zach Baun's been everywhere. Zach Baun has been he's been a Pro Bowl talent. I mean, he really deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. And I think, he deserves that contract for sure. So it's been great seeing him develop as a starting linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, there's two guys on this team now currently that this is their redemption season, and one being Zach Baun. He was on practice squad at the Saints, didn't really do much for the Saints, and now he really stepped up in a big way. And he's definitely well deserving of wearing the green dot. And just seeing him become a Pro Bowler for the first time in his career is awesome. He definitely makes a difference out there, at the linebacker position, and definitely think, him and Nakobe Dean are the hearts of this team, the heart of this team defense. So definitely well deserving of it, and it's good to give him such a significant role, especially in the playoffs, so we can see, what he's worth and what he's willing to do for us. So I really do respect that, and I love the fact Zach Baun has kind of stepped up in a big way this season.
He's really embodied what it means to be a Philadelphia athlete. I mean, you see what he's done on the field, which I'm going to get to here in a second, but off the field. If anybody saw that photo of him walking into the stadium in the Flyers jersey, you look at him, his family, they've really bought into this Philadelphia Eagles culture, this Philadelphia fan base, and they want to be here for a long time. You respect that. You love that. A guy that just got here and knows what it means to be an Eagle that quickly, Howard, don't mess that up, because off the field, he does everything right. Now, talking about on the field, he does everything right. You look at this guy's stats, and you can compare this season that he had for the Philadelphia Eagles to one of the great seasons. You look at Kuechly's one season that he was, I believe, 2013 Defensive Player of the Year compared to Zach Baun's 2024. Yeah, 2013 Defensive Player of the Year, Luke Kuechly had 156 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 65 stops, 2 sacks, 7 passes defended, 4 picks, 0 forced fumbles, and 485 yards allowed in coverage. 2024 Zach Baun, 151 tackles, 11 tackles for a loss, 69 stops, 3.5 sacks, 4 passes defended, 1 pick, 5 forced fumbles, and 354 yards allowed in coverage. My friends, why aren't people talking about Zach Baun in conversation for Defensive Player of the Year? You should put some more respect on his name. And if this doesn't tell Howie Roseman that he better be willing to get out the checkbook or go downtown and say, hey, Chickies, Pete's, Geno's, Pat's, you guys are going to need to give this guy like unlimited food and his family forever to get him to stay here, you're going to have to figure something out, because we love him, right? I mean, all in favor of signing Zach Baun, say aye. Aye. Yeah,
Aye.
exactly.
Aye,
Like,
Captain.
it's a 4 for 4, Howie. Come on. I mean, Joe, what would you think that the Eagles would you want to bring him in on a long term, like 4 or 5 years? Would you want to be in the 3-year range, 2-year range? Where are you comfortable at signing Baun?
So he's definitely a multi-year deal. I would probably say around the 3-4 year range, just because this isn't his first NFL contract. So we're kind of, he's definitely not getting any younger, but he's sort of entering into that prime, and setting him up for maybe a good 3-4 year contract that's going to get some really solid years out of him. And then we revisit that down the line, and if the production's continuing, then you keep him going. I would not say I would not say anything longer than 4 years in my opinion, just because again age starts to get a factor for this.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely think he's deserving of that 3 to 4 year deal because this is a player that you want to lock down, and he will do big things for this team the more he's on this team. So I definitely think 3 to 4 year deal would be, definitely deserving. I mean, his production this season speaks for itself. I mean, we just saw those stats. It speaks for itself. So he can just get better. I mean, he has come to a different team where he's gotten more playing time. He tried out a different position, what he's meant to be in, and just seeing his productivity this season compared, I'm not really sure what his stats are when he was at the Saints, but I mean, I'm sure night and day difference. So definitely some guy who's going to get progressively better. And then, like Joe said, age is definitely a factor. So I think that 3 to 4 year deal is perfect.
Zach Baun's 150 combined tackles, by the way, are 6th in the league in the regular season.
That's fucking insane. Pardon my French.
That's
crazy. Insane.
Those
That's
numbers
among
speak
all
for themselves,
defensive
Howard.
players, too, I'm going to point out.
Damn.
All defensive players. Wow. And that's his first season. That's crazy.
That's his first season with the Eagles.
Yeah,
number 6 overall.
And he was a practice squad player.
Get out the checkbook, Howard. Go down to the bank. Or get a new sponsor. You're going to need to figure it out. But hey, in all seriousness, I want to thank Joe Donahue for hopping on here with us. This guy's awesome. I love his content. I love his energy. I love his personality. If you are not following Bird's Nest Media, you are missing out. Please go follow this guy on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, because this guy's crushing it, and we love what he's about. Joe, thank you for joining us, man.
No problem. YouTube, Bird's Nest Media. Check it out. And again, thank you, Dalton, for having me on, and thank you to everybody else here at the Bird's Nest Media, at the 302 Birds crew. It's great to spend the evening with you guys.
Hey, great to spend it with you too, and thank you for coming on here to share your expertise for the Birds. We appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
Go Birds. Yep.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Guys, like I said, follow him on YouTube, follow him on Instagram, follow him on Twitter if he has one. I'm sure he does. Like everything. Clean slate. Follow that guy. We love him and what he's about. Coming back on the show, though, Joey. How you doing, brother? From Joe to Joey. How about that?
Good. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. You're rocking a New Jersey this week for us. Who you got?
Oh, it's a Westbrook.
Damn.
There you go.
All right, bringing out the classics for us.
There you go. So you got some holes in it, it looks like.
Yeah, it's the same Reebok like yours looks like.
Oh, no, it doesn't have holes, actually. Never mind. It looked like there was holes, but there's no, it's just
it got the little mini
no,
ones.
Oh, those ones, yes. No, I meant like actually like
the old school holes.
Yeah, of course. Reeboks are
back when the jerseys were breathable, but that would be a key to success for fanatics taking notes. But anyway, transitioning, Joey, you always bring us your keys to success every week. You do a great job with it. What are some of your keys to success this week for the Eagles to take down the Rams?
So I know one of my biggest ones is honestly one of the ones I had circled like first on the last time we played the Rams is just limiting like their explosive plays. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's a veteran quarterback that knows what he's doing in the league. He's been here for a long time. He's had Calvin Johnson for a long period of time as his receiver. And then obviously Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua now, they're both very explosive, and the Eagles defense just has to keep them contained. I mean, they did a pretty good job last time. I mean, Nacua went like 9 receptions, I think, for little over 115 yards. And then Cooper Kupp really didn't do much. He did have a touchdown, but if they can kind of get that to where like keep it like that, one of them gets a touchdown, one of them just gets a bunch of yards, keep them like kind of small in the stat sheets, it'd be really big for him.
Yeah, I hear that. How about Matt Stafford? Are you concerned with him? Because KJ brought up a good point. I mean, this could be his second snow game in Philly that he's that old.
Yeah, so Matt Stafford, it's kind of like a scary matchup. And he's a veteran quarterback that can beat you in so many different ways. I know not anymore does he really use his legs, so we can kind of rule that out. But obviously just he can beat you because he's so smart. He's been playing the game for such a long time that you're just gonna have to be able to Vic Fangio is going to have his hands full trying to scheme up different coverages to kind of try and confuse him if he can. And even like with the everything they're doing, like defensively on the zones, man coverage, blitz, and everything they do, they're going to have to disguise it and mix and match it up just so it throws Stafford off a little bit. The elements will definitely help, I think, on defense because, for both teams, really, because now you got stuff in your eyes as people are moving around all before the snap. So it's a little bit harder to kind of focus on what's going on. But I think the Eagles, they showed last time, I mean, in LA, in like clear, good conditions and everything, that they were able to kind of keep him contained and keep him together as a quarterback and didn't let him beat them too much, like too far down the field or anything like that. And I think that's just a big thing for them to secondary has to stay tight and locked up this week.
Yeah, I mean, the secondary's definitely got to lock in, and they've been great. They've locked in thus far, but you're right. Puka, Cup, I mean, like these guys that they're going against, the Rams receiving core and Matt Stafford, just give credit where it's due. I mean, they are a top-notch unit in the NFL's passing offense, and that's not anybody to play with. Jack, KJ, do you guys have any keys to success for Sunday's game or anything that you think the team should do to prepare to win?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I think the main key to success for this team is, as we saw, previously this season, is he hates being pressured. So bring the pressure as much as possible, because once he gets that pressure in his face, he just, either falls down or crumbles. So I think if we get that pressure to start off the game, he's not going to want to do much. So that is my big key to success. This defensive line is, top 5 in the league this year, and as long as we keep bringing pressure to him, I think we will see him make mistakes and not be as successful. I mean, because I watched some of this Vikings game last week, and it just seemed like they didn't really bring much pressure at all. And I rewatched the film on the Eagles Rams game this year, and we definitely brought a lot of pressure, and we just made him make his own mistakes. So that's my biggest key to success. I mean, they got nothing to lose. This is kind of like their Super Bowl. Every game moving forward is like their Super Bowl because what's going on with the Fires, as we talked earlier in the show. So they're going to come out guns blazing, and we need to, nip it in the butt and bring that pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. If any of you guys are going to be at the link, please let us know. Feel free to send us videos, clips, any good stuff, because it's going to be a...
Guess who's back?
Oh,
back again. Philly's
little fucker's back. JJ Sigalo, how you been? You ready to watch your season get ended this week, son?
Shut up, doll. Philly's prodigal son has returned. The man that came on this show last time and completely ended the Phillies season is back to do it again. This time, an even bigger underdog. And it's probably going to be another 5-1, and I came prepared for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and
Did you bring your cigarettes with you?
I'm in beautiful Los Angeles. Why would I need cigarettes? My city's already burning down as it is. I don't need cigarettes.
My God, JJ. Anyway, get into your take.
Sorry, Kyle. Kyle messed this whole thing up.
That's KJ. It's KJ to you.
601 KJ. We've been through this a million times. Listen, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. First things first, I've watched that Eagles-Rams game back about 5 or 6 times because I've got nothing better to do sometimes on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. Like, hell, I'm already done with school. I got nothing better to do. I already lifted. What do I got to do? Yeah, I'll just go back and watch the highlights again or the full game. What I noticed is this. First things first, there were 2 players in that game that were major impacts that you will not be seeing this Sunday at 3 o'clock. Brandon Graham and Nakobe Dean. 2 of the biggest impacts of that game. Hell, Brandon Graham is the reason why I'm pretty sure the Eagles had 6 sacks on us. It was a disaster. And Saquon Barkley running the ball for 300 yards or 250 yards, whatever the hell it was, that only happened because the Rams kept turning the ball over. You want to know why? Because Brandon Graham and Nakobe Dean were out there wreaking havoc. If you watch that game back, you'll notice the Rams moved the ball. I'm pretty sure it was 2 drives in a row. They could have went up 14-0. but Kyron Williams fumbled the ball inside the 20. His fumbles are a bit of a problem, but he's definitely looking sharp. And the way that our defensive line played against Minnesota, we could go out there and beat pretty much any team you want.
Do you have
Yes.
PTSD from this game?
No, absolutely not. That's the regular season. The regular season means nothing. It all matters about right here in the playoffs. Believe me.
Segs, I love you because you're my Notre Dame brother. Respect.
We wouldn't on Monday night. We wouldn't on
We're winning
Monday
on
night,
Monday.
by the way.
We're winning on Monday for sure. Facts. But where I was going is, you played the Vikings. The Vikings, yes, they had an insane record, but Sam Darnold has never played in the playoffs in his career. So you got lucky. I mean, if you played a different team, you guys wouldn't be successful. I mean, the Vikings, the last 2 games crumbled very, very poorly, like the Eagles did last year.
I'm about to say, you know a thing or two about crumbling late in the season.
But yeah, so good. Wow, you got to win. You held 9 points. Cool. But that was Sam Darnold, and that Vikings offensive line. There's only one good player on that team, and that's Brian O'Neill. Respect that guy. Brother, got a death.
And Jared Verse may have put that dude in a body bag, from what I
Yeah,
saw.
but again, if you rewatch the film, we locked down Jared Verse. He was nothing at all to this offensive line.
Because you have a Pro Bowl offensive line.
Yeah, our O-line is going to be way different than the Vikings.
If your offensive line, here's the thing. Your offensive line is going to have to be up to potential, or you're going to have no shot against our pass rush.
But they always are. Like, that's
we are. We're
like
always
saying
up to
does
the
a bear
potential.
shit in the woods, JJ.
Listen,
Usually it does.
Listen, I'm aware. Your offensive line is phenomenal. You've turned Mekhi Becton into an all-pro. Maybe the guy just needs to get out of New York. That tends to happen a lot with guys that come to this state and they can never perform. That happens all the time. Just look at a guy like Kenny Galladay, for example. Giant fans know very well about him. But
no, that's just because he was on the Giants. And look at
the Jets. It's the same thing. It's worse on the Jets. Look at Aaron Rodgers. They've broken the team. But yeah, your offensive line does concern me. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the exact opposite of how I was feeling going into the Phillies series. Like I said, yes, this is who I want to play. I want to play this team. This is the one team I did not want to play in the divisional round. I wanted to see you in the NFC Championship game after beating up on Detroit. That was the goal. But it seems like in order for us to have a repeat of 2021, we got to go out there and beat the 2 seed in their house again. And I'm hearing rumors that this is supposed to be a very snowy game in Philadelphia, is what I've been told. Oh, great. Matthew Stafford loves the winter. That's good news for us. But I'm going to just go ahead and say this. When it comes to the Eagles and the Rams, there's one thing that concerns me this entire game. Dalton is completely frozen.
Yeah, what the hell?
No. I'm making a face at you because you're like, that's good for Matt Stafford. Motherfucker, that's good for our entire roster, the weather. Like,
Same
that's
for
one
us.
guy on your team. Your team is a warm weather team. Your team is fucked.
Yeah, and also this will be Stafford's second Snow Bowl game. Do you want to know what happened last time the Snow Bowl happened with Stafford?
He was in
They
Detroit.
lost.
He was in
They
Detroit.
lost.
He was in
Yep.
Detroit.
That was a cold weather city. Even more reason that he shouldn't have screwed it up.
Oh, Dalt. The Rams have not lost. The Rams did not lose a cold weather game all season long. Pretty sure they went undefeated in cold weather games.
You just told us like 2 minutes
Sunday
ago,
will be
the
here
regular
pretty
season
quickly.
doesn't count. You just told us like 2 minutes ago, oh, the regular season doesn't mean
So why are we
anything.
so why are we bringing up a Snow Bowl from almost a decade ago?
Because it's gonna happen again.
It's gonna happen again.
You're okay. Let me just clear the record for a second. I'm gonna just make one thing very clear and clear to only the Eagles fans that are in the room. That if that link is not buzzing, then Matthew Stafford is gonna silence that place real quick when we go down and score on our first drive, just like we should have done last time.
Hey,
Let's
KJ,
call a spade a
does
spade.
a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah, they usually do. Or if they sometimes they use a portal potty. It depends.
Like you're saying the link better be buzzing. The link will be buzzing. It's a playoff game. I don't care if the Tundra's going to be out there. People are going to drive to it.
Listen to me, Dalton. WrestleMania is still the loudest I've ever heard the link, even in the NFC
Oh
Championship
my
game.
God.
Oh my God.
JJ,
If
that
you
might
were
be the
there-
biggest slight
Seeing
I've
a
ever heard
bunch of
at the
guys
link.
in tights a bunch of guys in tights wrestle. That was the loudest thing. Oh,
And,
Yeah,
and yeah,
I would.
they,
Yeah,
they do spend a lot of money and do tend to get loud.
I was
and
there.
gather
I
large
saw. I
crowds.
saw it in person. I was there. It's probably the loudest I've ever been to in Philadelphia ever. And believe me, I've seen some pretty crazy games in
Kid's been to
Philadelphia.
Philly once.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
you've been to
5 or
Philly
6
once.
times. 5 or 6
Hey,
times.
Segs, before
Hit
you
me.
leave, I think KJ, it's time you do your little thing.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah,
Penn
with the
State
Notre Dame
Blues,
fan here.
yeah.
Damn.
All right, let me search this up. Where's the song at? Notre Dame.
Victory march.
While he finds the song, I'll give a
Victory.
quick preview while you're looking it up, KJ. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready.
Just
But
give
in
us a
all
preview, and I'll tell you when I
seriousness,
disagree.
JJ, we're going to end your season on Sunday. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be close, but you guys have no fucking clue what you're walking into. I saw the first game. That was enough. We're going on another run. Knock on wood. I'm not going to jinx this team, but I have a very good feeling that this team is built. Like, this team is like a Ford built to fucking last. and
KJ
they're
better
gonna
be
last.
ready because the Ohio
I'm
State
ready. I
Buckeyes are
have the
coming on
song ready.
Monday. All
Take
right,
it,
Joel.
Mac.
Ready. All right. Rally, sons of Notre Dame.
Sing her
Wait,
honor.
let me
and
sing.
sound her
JJ,
fame.
not you.
Sorry,
Not you.
it's too
Let me
catchy.
sing it.
It's my
All right?
song.
I'm the one who has to do the punishment.
You gotta sing it in tune though. Like you gotta have it like rally.
Here, I got it, KJ. I muted him. Take it away.
Okay, good. Rally, sons of Notre Dame, sing her glory and sound her fame, raise her gold and blue, and cheer with voices true. Rah, rah for Notre Dame, we will fight every game, strong of heart and true to her name. We will never forget her, and we will cheer her ever, loyal to Notre Dame. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes, cheering for her name. Send a valley cheer on
high.
On high.
Shake down.
Shake down. Someone mute him. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small? Old Notre Dame, we will win overall, while her loyal sons and daughters march on to victory. That is a
Woo!
Oh, geez. Yeah, there you go.
That was the worst rendition of the victory march I've ever heard.
I agree.
Well,
And
it wasn't
KJ,
supposed to be good because I'm not a Notre Dame fan, and that was painful to sing that song.
Listen, I would have sung that. Listen, I would have sung the Penn State song in a heartbeat, not because even I love Notre Dame, but I will say
KJ,
this.
Yeah.
and you have to say that Notre Dame is superior to Penn State.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish is the superior team to the Penn State Nittany Lions. The Irish kicked the crap out of the Nittany Lions. Not really, but they did beat them. And the Nittany Lions are now the Shitney Lions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And James Franklin still can't win a big game. And
I'm
James
sorry,
Franklin
Mikey D. It was a bet. I'm sorry. This is what I have to go through.
All right, my last take before I ditch on out of here, Dalt, is I'm going to just go ahead and say 3 things, and I'm going to make this quick. The first thing is you said that we don't know what we're walking into with the Eagles. Since the Eagles game, if you do not count the Rams-Seahawks game from Week 18 because all the backups played, the Rams have not lost a single game.
Since the Eagles game, which you
Since
got
the
the
Eagles
shit kicked
game.
out of you.
Yeah, it's made us a better team. Have you seen our defense? 4 of our last 5 games, we've given up less than 10 points.
Okay.
10
That's a
points.
good stat.
Second, without Brandon Graham, the Eagles' pass rush is significantly worse against a fully healthy Rams offensive line, which you did not see in Week 12. And the third and final thing is this. When it comes down to coaching, I'm taking Sean McVay over Nick Sirianni 100 times out of 100. Will I be proven wrong? Let's see. I know you guys are going to want this win a lot more than I do because all I care about is Monday. I swear to God, you better win on Monday night. Please bring the national championship home. You can find me live on Empire Sports Media. I'll be live streaming the Natty. It'll either be my greatest memory or my biggest crash out. Thank you very much, Philadelphia.
JJ, we love you guys. Go follow JJ Segalo, one of our favorite New Yorkers. He's been around, and he actually used to work around here, believe it or not. Well, not work, volunteer is how I should really say it. But believe it or
still want
not,
my money.
we kind of influenced JJ. So one day when he's on ESPN, JJ, just remember your favorites, KJ and Dalt, your favorite ball busting Philly fans.
And ballpark.
And ballpark too. But he won't want to remember ballpark. He sees ballpark in his nightmares.
Yeah,
Divisional game at home, though, gentlemen. I think that this one's going to be one for the books. I think it's going to be like a snow globe on Sunday. Saquon Barkley, like KJ made his song that never got released. We'll save it for next year. Dashing through the wind. It's going to be a beautiful sight. I want to see what uniforms the Eagles are going to wear. I don't think that they've announced it yet. I think it would actually be an interesting take. Hear me out. I know it's a home game, so this would be untraditional. I'd wear all white. Fuck it. All white, green helmets. Snow game, that would look sick. A whiteout would be kind of cool. Penn State vibes, right? Saquon Barkley, snow. We're going to bring the elements. And I think it would throw Matt Stafford off a little bit.
That would be confusing.
We don't want Penn State vibes, Dalton. They're losers. So redact that, please.
We only lost by 3. We only lost by 3. And if it wasn't for Drew Aller's stupid mistakes, we would have been in the championship game. But God damn it.
Anyway, we're talking about the Eagles. Yeah, this is going to be a big game. Definitely, we got 2 big games coming up. Notre Dame's going to win the Natty, and the Eagles going to win the divisional game. This is definitely going to be a run-heavy offensive game, because again, it's going to be slushy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. So again, I mean, we got to utilize the run game a lot. And you got to, look for the open receiver because, A.J. Brown is definitely has that it factor. We haven't seen it yet because we haven't been targeting him. Even so, we have Devontae Smith. We have Dallas Goedert. I mean, I'm telling you, Jahan Dotson is coming into his own right now. I mean, he has had pretty good the last 2 games, week 18 and then the first game of the playoffs. So that's good to see. I wish he was doing that all season long. But yeah, we got to utilize the run. They're not going to want to tackle Saquon Barkley. They're definitely not want to tackle Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert's going to give that the stiff arm. But yeah, this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be a good game. I think the Eagles will win by at least a touchdown. As betting is, the odds are 6.5 right now. So I think it's going to hit. But yeah, this is kind of where champions are made, and we gotta win this game, then we gotta win the next game, and then win the Super Bowl. So that's all I gotta say.
It's that time of the year, baby. Buckle up because Philadelphia is ready for a playoff run. If you guys haven't, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. All those little things really help us out a ton. If you're new around here, don't forget it. I want to thank our guests. We had a ton of them tonight. Jordan, Dalton, both the Joeys. I feel like I'm forgetting one other person. Oh, Segs. Yeah, our freaking favorite Rams fan giving me the finger in the back. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. Love you too. But in all seriousness, want to thank Segs. Want to thank all those guys I mentioned. Please be sure to give them a follow. This was our most ever guest on a show. It was definitely a learning experience. So thank you guys for our patience with us. This is kind of a new direction that we're trying to head. So stay patient with us as we kind of have this revolving door, because it's definitely entertaining when we can bring a lot of us, even if it's for short periods of time throughout the week. So there's a lot of people that can contribute to this show, and I want to make sure that we give them all their props. But Jackson, hype us up, baby. Take us out of here. It's playoffs, and we got the Rams, the Rams, the Lambs, the bitches. How do you want to call them?
Yeah, fuck the Rams, honestly. They're fucking pussy-ass bitches. But bitches, we gotta lock the fuck in! This is the divisional game! We got the NFC Championship up next! We gotta take it to the fucking Rams, kick them in the mouth, tell them who the Eagles are! Shut up, JJ Seglio, forever! Go Eagles! Go Birds! Eagles! Let's go, boys. Let's fucking go. This is where winners are made. Let's show the NFL, let's show the national television that these Eagles are legit and they're ready to kick everyone in the fucking mouth. Without further ado, hey, Joe! It's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.